I'm Marvin Plackett, and today is Friday, May 22nd. Greetings to all residents, to all staff, and to all guests. First, I want to do a shout out to Shirley. Shirley lives at the Gardens. I had an opportunity to visit with Shirley yesterday for a few minutes, practicing social distancing, wearing my mask, and there was a moment I wasn't, but we were more than 10 feet apart. And so there was nobody else around. It was just Shirley and me, and it was great seeing you, Shirley. It's been too long. This week was a tougher week than usual, that's for sure, due to the significant error that was made with all those tests here at Episcopal Church Home on Monday. As you well know, I've mentioned that a couple of times now. And it was so nice, I meant to mention this yesterday, that I don't know if it was a neighbor, I don't know if it was maybe one of our staff. Anyway, somebody went around our campus and using chalk, the kind that is washable, very large chalk, they wrote the saying in various places around the campus, "This too shall pass." It was very touching, very moving, and if you're listening right now, the person that did it, just know that you moved many hearts. Thank you very much. Since yesterday, we have 3 more confirmed cases of COVID-19. One is a resident, and that person also lived on Gilbert House like the others. And the other 2 are staff at Episcopal Church Home. So that means that we now have 20 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 9 are residents, 11 are staff. And the residents, of course, are located now, they were, as I mentioned, from Gilbert House. They're now located in our dedicated COVID unit, which is on 2nd floor at Episcopal Church Home, except for if they're in the hospital. If a person, and I think there is 1, maybe 2 that right now is in the hospital, well, then that's where they would be, but then they would come back to our COVID unit, assuming that they are healthy enough to come back. Testing that, of course, did occur, but mistakes were made. The testing that occurred on Monday, it has been rescheduled. It is going to occur on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. And it's going to be at Episcopal Church Home once again, and it's only for residents that live at Episcopal Church Home and all staff that work at Episcopal Church Home. And this is not going to be conducted by the National Guard. Once again, they were very professional and appropriate and polite and everything. It's just that they had the wrong swab, so that added to the problem on last Monday. In any case, not going to be conducted by the National Guard. These tests are going to be administered by our own nursing staff and nurse practitioners that come here to Episcopal homes. And we already have the supplies from Mayo Clinic, and this is being coordinated with Mayo Clinic. Let's see, so our nurses are going to be doing the swabbing, and as I mentioned yesterday, all of the test kits, they are for oral testing. And so the swabbing is going to occur in the throat, not through the nose, okay? So these are oral swabs that are going to be administered orally through the mouth and touching, of course, the throat to get the proper swab. And once again, it's currently the one next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's for Episcopal Church Home only, residents and staff. And then we have not yet scheduled the testing for the Gardens and then Iris Park Commons. So that is in the future. We will keep you posted. Some of you saw the story that ran, I think it was last night at 10 p.m. on WCCO TV, where they talked about the testing that occurred a week ago at Joanna Shores. Joanna Shores is in Arden Hills, which is just a little bit north of us, a few miles. And they tested something like just over 500 people. And of those 500, all of those 500 tests, nobody had symptoms. And several residents came back, it was under 10, and 23 staff came back positive. So it was something under 30 positive, but the point is none of them had symptoms. So it does really show how vital it is that we practice what we have talked about over and over, and that is the principle of social distancing, staying at minimum 6 feet apart, and wearing your masks when you're not in your apartments, when you're outside of your apartment, when you're anywhere outside your apartment or your unit, your room, wearing your masks and staying at minimum 6 feet apart. Remember, you could have it and be asymptomatic. I could have it and be asymptomatic. But if I have it and I'm in your presence, and so if I have it, I'm asymptomatic, and let's say I remain that way, and so there's no effect on me. But if you don't have it, and if I pass it on to you, it might cause your death. That's how serious this is, of course, right? Because X% of those that have COVID-19 die. We have, I think, just over 100,000 or just under 100,000 Americans that have already died from it. If you have it and you have no symptoms and you're not going to get any symptoms, but I don't have it, and you give it to me, I could die. So it is that serious. But whether you have it or I have it, if we are maintaining our social distancing, and if we're wearing our masks at all times, then you aren't going to give it to me, and I'm not going to give it to you, and whichever one of us has it, it's simply going to run its course, and it's going to disappear, and it's not passed on to anybody. So that's the way it works, which leads right into also my next topic, and that is the update from the CDC. So you might have seen in the news, it's been in multiple papers, that the CDC just updated their website in terms of the transmission of COVID-19. So I happen to be reading here from a Washington Post article that came out today, but again, it's been in multiple different newspapers, so you may have already seen this. I'm just going to read a few sections from the paper. The title of this article is "Virus Does Not Spread Easily from Contaminated Surfaces or Animals," revised CDC website states. The coronavirus primarily spreads from person to person and not easily from a contaminated surface. That is the takeaway from the update. And if you go to the website, the section is called How COVID-19 Spreads. The revised guidance now states in headline-sized type, the virus spreads easily between people. It is spreading very easily and sustainably between people. The CDC made another key change to its website, clarifying what sources are not major risks. Under the new heading, "The virus does not spread easily in other ways," the agency explains that touching contaminated objects or surfaces does not appear to be a significant mode of transmission. The same is true for exposure to infected animals. Our transmission language has not changed. COVID-19 spreads mainly through close contact from person to person. So they haven't changed anything else, right? All they're saying is that the main spread is from person to person. So the main things you need to do, I need to do, we all need to do to protect ourselves is maintain the social distancing of a minimum of 6 feet apart and wearing our masks at all times when we are outside of our apartments or our rooms. You still should wash your hands frequently, still need to stay in your zones, and the other things. However, the main things to do, the two number one things to do is keep your social distancing, or two things, primary things to do. Keep your social distance and wear your masks. And that is the latest from the CDC. But still avoid surfaces, still frequently disinfect your surfaces, still wash your hands frequently, because that has not been removed as a protection mechanism. It's just that they placed more emphasis on the primary way that it is spread, and that is person to person. People coming within 6 feet of each other and not protected. That's the primary way it is spread. And if you go to the CDC website, check it out for yourself. I strongly encourage you to do so. You would click on the area, it's right at the top. It's called How to Protect Yourself, and then it will take you to another page and it describes how COVID-19 spreads. Okay? This weekend, of course, is Memorial Day weekend. So on Monday, we commemorate all the men and women that have died in service for the United States. It's important, of course, that we commemorate them, that we remember them. And as part of our commemoration, Joey Clark and Kristen Aitchison, they will be hosting a sing-along on Monday. At 11 o'clock, they will be in the courtyard, and at 11:45, they will be in our main parking lot. Join in, open your window, sing along, please, you'll enjoy that. And then remember, of course, that since Monday is a holiday, a 3-day weekend here, that I won't be seeing you then until Tuesday at 1:30. Take care, be well. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.